So today we're going to be taking apart the Galaxy S 4G Epic Slide phone. It's called the D700. There's 7 screws around the base, around the outside of it. I'm going to fast forward this just so we don't waste any time. The phone itself is pretty easy to take apart. There's not a whole lot of screws inside. Anyway, make sure you keep all the screws in the same place. So I did all the screws around the outside, kept them in that little pile. To pull apart the phone, you just get a little pry tool and kind of pry between the back housing and the frame of the phone. It'll be a little bit tough to get out. There's little clips that surround the outsides. All you have to do is pop them out one by one. You can kind of see me lifting up the edge of the case here and just reaching the pry tool under and kind of twisting a little bit to get it to pop out. You'll see it click out here in a second. And then the whole case just lifts off. There's a few ribbon cables. There's this one on the side for the main screen. And there's one more along the top right here. You just pick those up. They snap back into place really easily. So down here is the bottom speaker housing. There's one screw on it. You just take off that screw and then the whole thing just kind of clips out of place. It's pretty simple. It has one cable that goes up to the top and just has one little tiny clip in the bottom of it. So you can just lift that off with your pry tool and then just kind of feed it out through those little brackets that hold the wire in place. The motherboard itself just lifts out. There's no screws holding it in place. The audio jack, if you want to take this out, like if your audio jack's gone bad, you just lift up the little tiny black lever at the bottom of it. And if you pull gently, the audio jack will come right out. It's a little ribbon cable that attaches it. Slide it back in, latch the black part back down, and that's how you would replace one of those if you need to. Okay, to separate the board itself from the screen to get to the sliding mechanism, you lift up the sticker down at the bottom. Make sure you keep this because if you ever need to warranty out your phone or anything, they need that sticker with the DEC and all the hex numbers on it and everything. So you can see the 4 screws, they're silver, this one. And once those screws are done, the whole panel just kind of lifts up by itself. And you can see the ribbon cable for the top. So the keypad itself is just a little thin piece of plastic. I can just lift that out. There's nothing really holding it in place. Just little brackets that kind of keep it in place but don't hold it permanently there. To remove this last bracket from the front screen, there's 4 more screws. They're black ones. And you can kind of see how I'm keeping all the screws separated on the side there, putting the black ones in their own little pile, just so you don't get them confused later on. And it separates super easily from the phone. You don't have to pry at all. Just feed the ribbon cable through that bracket and then you can see the sliding mechanism on the screen right here. So to put it back into place, make sure that you line up, make sure you have the board oriented in the right direction so it sits down correctly, and then make sure you hold the ribbon cable out of the way. You don't want to damage that. Put the 4 black screws back in place. Slide the keypad back into the slot where it was before. Just kind of sits in there by itself. Now here it's important to make sure you sit that little bracket right back down inside the slot there. That way it sits underneath the motherboard in the exact position where it needs to be to clip back down onto the motherboard again. If it's not in the right spot, you'll have to take off this board all over again and reposition it right. Put the 4 smaller silver screws back into place. Like I mentioned before, you just need to make sure to keep that sticker with all the information of the phone on it. Motherboard pops back in. So right now I'm popping on the little wire for the bottom speaker. It clips on the bottommost little round thing on the motherboard, and it clips in right there. You just kind of position the cable back into the slots where it was before. Snap the black part into place, and then screw down that 1 screw that was holding it in. And there's that screw. Now I know I'm just popping those ribbon cables back into place. There's only 2 of them on this phone, so it's pretty simple. Taking the back housing, clipping it into place, and making sure that I get the buttons back into place as well. So the volume button and the power button, there's nothing really holding them in place. So you just lift up the back end a little bit, slide them in, and then before they fall out again, just clip the case closed, and that holds them in place. Once both the buttons are in where they're supposed to be, pop all those screws back into where they're supposed to be at. Just go around the edges and kind of hold the phone in one piece and make sure everything works like it should. And that's how you fix the Galaxy S Epic slide phone from Sprint. If you have any questions